Hello, my ravens. Now, I'm here today to talk about the results of the 2016 election. I'm just kidding. I'm crazy, not psychotic. Now, most of the time when when I'm doing these videos and pitching my books or whatever, I'm doing some kind of weird gimmick. I'm either a game show host or a monster, or last time I was a pirate. Arg. But today I just thought I'd give you a little bit of face time to me to tell you how a lot of my work came to be and what it means to me and everything. And just get personal. Now, The Preacher was the first thing I ever wrote. It was inspired by a lot of the games I played when I was younger, the RPG games like Final Fantasy and among other games of that category, and that I always loved. I actually bought Final Fantasy, World of Final Fantasy yesterday, and it's kind of been a little nostalgic. But the story, of course, comes because I've always been raised in a Baptist family, a Baptist community. My grandfather's a Baptist preacher. That's where a lot of the religious aspect came into it. And also, I always hated how preachers were portrayed in movies and stuff. You know, occasionally you've got a pretty bad one like Russell Crowe in The Quick and the Dead, the gunslinger. But a lot of times they were just weak and pitiful, praying while they got shot in the head or something. I wanted a badass preacher, so that's why I created Jacob to be as tough as he was, and I came up with the story, and that's why I felt like I came up with 4 good characters to go together with him. And Sarah and Mark and Jonathan, they've all got their separate personalities, and I think all 4 of them mold well together. But then again, that was my earliest work, and I think I've improved a lot since then. A lot of other people say I have. Believe it or not, the second book I finished was actually Artemis, but it was just recently published. That was actually the second one that I wrote, and I've told this in other videos that it was an idea that I'd had since I was in high school, and it was I've always loved animals. I got that from my mother. It's a curse sometimes, trust me. But you know, the thought of anybody abusing an animal just makes your head blow and you can't stand it. So that's why I had the idea for Artemis, and I'd always liked the Greek goddess, the idea of her, because she was kind of temperamental too, if you go by the stories, you know. So that's why I had the idea for the hero that would stand up for animals and take out abusers in an extreme way. At least at first. He kind of mellowed out a little bit, but that's a lot of where that came from. Accents of Horror was just other little short stories I had. I kind of wanted to do a little book of short stories, and of course the Hitchhiker, Stranger in the Rain, about the Hitchhiker, was the one I was proudest of. But everybody seemed to love Headlights. I wrote that one in like 45 minutes, you know. And that was the one that was very loosely based on the true story, because I've said out here we've had headlights that disappear when you see them coming over a hill. And then I came up with a story about the Grim Reaper, and that was just a little idea that popped in my head, and thought it was pretty creative. And then the 4th one, of course, was from my editor, Ellen Mays, who I don't talk about enough. You really need to check out her stuff. She's got a bunch of books. The most popular is called Rabbit Chasing Beth Ryder, a Christian vampire book. And I think you'd really enjoy it. I mean, even if you're not religious, I think it's good enough to enjoy if you're a vampire lover. And then we have the Bone Spirit. Now, the Bone Spirit is my favorite thing I've ever written. I know I love Artemis too, but the Bone Spirit was so easy. And I fell in love with the characters. That's why it was so easy. And Jamie Conrad, I feel like I put more of myself into him than I did any character I've done. There's always a little part of me in main characters, but I feel like the most of my personality, the writer in me, went into him. Of course, he was a writer, and he was kind of a smart aleck sometimes. He was a joker, and he could act all pitiful sometimes, which I know I can. And the character of Casey, of course, the bad thing is you create women you fall in love with, but they're fictional. And Casey was a very fun character to write too. But that was the easiest thing for me to write, because it went through. It was just I always could get into it and go through to it, and the story just came so easy. So that's probably always going to be the favorite thing I've ever wrote. And I'm just pretty proud of it. And I've got other things written. There's one thing that scares the crap out of me because it's not horror related at all, so that makes me nervous. It's kind of a detective story, you know, kind of a thriller. Tried to be kind of Tammy Hogue-ish, Nora Roberts-ish, you know. I like to read them, but I'm probably, it was just my attempt at it, and I hope to publish that one day. I've also got the sequel to The Preacher that needs to be published, and I'm writing a third one, so hopefully we'll get that out there one day. I've still got a short horror story that'll probably end up being a Kindle single, just like The Backwoods was with Artemis. And it's basically going to be about a cursed hospital. And a lot of inspiration for that is I used to work in a hospital. But that's just some future work that I hope to get out someday. And all I ask is that you give my work a chance. It means a lot to me. And you can get all of them on Amazon in paperback, or you can get them on your Kindle. The Preacher, Accents of Horror, The Bone Spirit, Artemis, and the short story that takes place after Artemis, The Backwoods. The Accents of Horror and The Backwoods are both 99 cents, and the other ones are $2.99 on Kindle, so it won't cost you too awful much. And of course, I just want you to subscribe to this channel. I wanted to give you a little FaceTime with me and everything. Just being serious, not being goofy. And subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with your friends, and follow me on Twitter at Chris Snider 83. I'm up to almost like about 3,850. I'm trying to get up to 4,000 followers, and just a struggling writer trying to make it big. So hope you enjoyed this video, enjoyed this time we've had together, and I appreciate all my viewers, and as I always say, my Ravens, happy reading.